Yo, what's going on guys? My name is Asphyxiate and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at a crafting room design. At the moment I'm still waiting to get tribed up on officials, and then it's going to take me a bit of time to get some content as well. So in the break between those sort of PvP videos, I'm going to just be doing some PvE builds and stuff like that just to supplement the break and get some more content out for you guys. So let's get right into it. So with any crafting station I make on officials, I always try to get as many crafting stations accessible from one spot as possible. So you can see here I can access multiple fabricators, I can access the industrial forge, I can access multiple smithies if I need them for something, I can access multiple chem benches, and it's all just really convenient. And then you've also got dedicated storage boxes underneath you. And then behind the smithies you've got vaults as well, should you need to store stuff in there. So there's a lot of space that you can move your material around from. So you could grab your metal out of the forge, put it into the fabricators to make some ARB, or you could take the charcoal out and put it into the chem benches to make gunpowder, stuff like that. You could also be picking stuff out of these daddy boxes and putting them straight into the forge if you've got excess wood or metal or something like that. So you don't really have to worry too much about your weight. You can sort of access everything from one spot, or at least a large majority of it. Overall, I like having the daddy storage boxes on the floor. It takes up way less space. The only downside is you don't actually see the icons of what's in each box. So you can see here that I've got the metal ingots in here, I've got metal in here, but you don't see the icons for them on the tops. So it's a little bit more annoying. You're gonna have to remember like where stuff is. If having a full floor of dedicated storage boxes is like too hard to remember what's where, you could always separate it out like over this side. So you just have like 2x2 squares of daddy floors, and that way, you know, it's a bit easier to remember like, oh, you know, metal's in this one, or like wood's over here, or something like that. You've also got daddy storage in the middle here. So you could always just have a normal floor here and remove some of these smithies and vaults and just have more dedicated storage. It kind of just depends on what your priorities are. I know that a lot of tribes don't use that many vaults these days because you can store so much resources in the dedicated storage boxes. And then smithies as well. Like, you don't really use smithies that much if you've got tech unlocked. Like, I imagine you'd be making most of your flak in the replicators, and as well as a lot of other things. So smithies are somewhat irrelevant these days, so you could scale back on these, have more dedicated storage boxes, and then just have normal floors here so you don't have to worry about not being able to see the icons. It just kind of depends on what works best for you. This entire design is very scalable, so at the moment I've just done 5 forges on each side, with a lot of chem benches and a lot of fabricators and some smithies as well. You could obviously just double it up and have like another set of the same crafting stations over here, or you can make it twice as long or like a bit longer, and just like upscale it or downscale it to as big as you need for your tribe. The replicators, I probably wouldn't put the replicators like this on a natural server. This was more just to, you know, make sure that I don't forget about them entirely. I'd probably raise them up and put them on a floating hatch frame, just so that you can walk underneath them. The only downside to doing that is you have to raise the foundation twice to be able to walk underneath them freely, just because of the way that the bottom of the replicator's hitbox works. So as you can probably see here, I've got these forges on hatch frames as well. And the reason that I like doing this is if I go in here and, I don't know, do I have anything I can put in there? Wait, that's not the forge. There, let's popcorn this out. You can see that it falls out over here. Whereas if you've got them on normal ceilings, an issue that we often run into is that the boxes will just get stuck inside the hitbox of the forge. And that way you can't actually just popcorn stuff out in case you're, you know, trying to pick stuff up with a teammate or something like that. It just makes it way easier having them on the hatch frames and having them actually just pop out onto the floor and being able to whip them up or press E to pick them all up. I won't go into too much detail about building this whole thing. In the last video I did a speed build of the entire build, but it's quite time consuming and a lot of this stuff is fairly straightforwards. Just for the daddy floors, what you have to do is you have to actually just lower a foundation a whole bunch of times, so that you've got enough space to be able to place a dedicated storage box in line with the floor level. So you can see here that once this rubble clears, I've got a foundation here that's been lowered, I think it was 3 or 4 times, and it worked out to be low enough to place it in line with the floor. So you just have to do that to be able to get the daddy floors. And then obviously you can just fill it up with normal foundations, if I can get the snap point, just to cover up your lowered one. And that's how you get the lowered daddy floors. With the vaults, all you have to do is place a row of ceilings along the top here, and then you would just place the vaults wherever you want them, and then just vault drop them through the chem benches and through the smithies. As long as your vaults are only covering like the last third of the smithy, you should be fine to access everything. Like, I just did this on my first try. I didn't have to pick it up or like redo it or anything to be able to access both. It's pretty easy. In terms of getting the industrial forges on the hatch frames, it's a pretty well-known building trick. I've shown it in previous videos. I did the same thing. It's the same mechanic as when you do the floating transmitter. So you can just go back and watch that video if you need to, but there's plenty of videos about it, so I'm not going to go through how to do it. With these fabricators, you can place them second. They're not going to be obstructed by the forges or anything like that. The only thing that is annoying if you don't build it first is doing the smithies. So do the smithies first before you place the chem benches and the catwalks. It just makes your life so much easier. And then vaults, obviously, you want to do last. But yeah, that's basically it. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. I think it's a really good crafting station. It's really compact with the amount of crafting stations you actually get in the space, and it works perfectly for a large tribe, and you can also scale it down for a smaller tribe if you want to. So I think it's very flexible in its use like that, and you don't actually have to have tech or anything like that to be able to utilize it. You don't need those two tech replicators at the end, and you can always just like leave the dedicated storage boxes for the time being if you don't have them unlocked yet, and then it's just an added utility when you do get them unlocked in the future. Anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video for today. I know it's a bit of a shorter one, but I hope you liked it nonetheless. Let me know what you think about the crafting room in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I really think it's a lot better than the previous crafting build I did. The mess has changed a lot, and my knowledge of the game has also improved. So I think this is a big step up from what I've done previously. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of my content, then hit the subscribe button to be notified whenever I upload. I'm hoping to get into officials as soon as possible and get that content coming out for you guys. But until then, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.